It's week 7, the final week of social media and web analytics at Tilburg University. Final week, what do you need to do to get through the week in terms of course material? Let's quickly describe it. So as normal, there's a video lecture this week. We're going to talk about social advertising, or the idea of advertising on social media more broadly. Think about two things. Do digital ads on social media platforms work? And can we quantify it? So I'm trying to understand, can we come up with a metric of computing whether my advertising on Facebook is effective? What do I need in terms of an analytics toolkit to do it? Then we'll think about company tweets or company social media posts. How might they impact demand, or do they impact demand? So if I'm a film studio and I post about my upcoming movie, does that have any impact on demand? How might I be able to figure that out? And finally, we'll think about whether TV advertising or advertising offline can generate some kind of online activity. So does kind of offline advertising generate online word of mouth, for example? Does my TV advertising impact how people talk about my products in terms of volume, at least, maybe topics online? In addition to the video lecture, we'll have a computing lecture this week, the last one. Two main things to think about. The main topic is going to be influencers in a network and identifying sub-communities within a network. So I want to revisit the idea of social networks in the last week or so of the class. This is the last week, so it's the right time to think about that. We're going to ask essentially two questions. Can we find influential members in a network? How might we go about doing it? And then if there's a network of people on social media, for example, how might we divide that network into sub-communities if I don't want to, as an analyst myself, kind of impose some structure? Can I let the data speak for me and introduce some notion of sub-communities to the data? Finally, since it's the last lecture, kind of have some concluding thoughts and wrap up kind of main takeaways from this class. Other things to work on, the lab assignment. There's no new lab assignment this week. So lab assignment 6 on networks and influence was the last one, and you're going to need some of the material in the computing lecture this week to speak to that lab assignment. So that should keep you busy on that front. And you've got a bunch of exam revision to be doing, I'm sure, as well. So no additional extra new material is hopefully going to be well received. And then we have our final lab section. So final group presentations for the class, talking about social media advertising or social advertising in general. And we'll discuss some kind of bits and pieces from lab assignment 6 for those of you that have done it and have questions you want us to cover. Finally, what else should you be working on? Well, if you're watching this early in the week and you have a group presentation, I guess you're working on that during the beginning part of the week. The group technical assignment number 2 is due the end of this week, so you should be working on that. And then there's all the exam revision for the exam coming up in a week or so's time. As a final thought, because we're near the end of the block or the semester, it can be a high pressure time, lots of assignments due, exams, just a lot going on in kind of your study life. Some advice: take a bit of time just to kind of think back and care about your health a little bit more, whether that be physical, mental, or spiritual health. It's really important. It does impact your performance, particularly if you're thinking about going into exams and you're super stressed. Personal experience says that doesn't necessarily lead to the best exam outcome. So just take a moment, take 2 moments, as many moments as you think you need to kind of feel good kind of internally about yourself and your health. Now, as I say this as advice, do as I suggest, not as I do. I'm not personally great at this, and it's one of my biggest character flaws, but I thought I'd put it out there just to tell you that, it's okay that you need some time to kind of, work on your mental health, physical health, whatever is needed throughout the next couple of weeks. On that note, I'll see you very shortly in a video lecture, maybe in an online computing lecture, maybe in a lab section. See you soon.